What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Study Hall here on UFS University. My name's Tam, and I'm joined by a full cast this week. Who do we have?
Tyler.
Me, Travis, TNT Tangeman.
Jacob Johnson.
What Study Hall is for the unenrolled is we take a bunch of your guys' UFS topics as well as some of our own, and we sit down and we discuss them for your amusement, entertainment, and knowledge. So before we jump into that, let me get another rigmarole. If you like the content, go out to patreon.com/UFS University. Throw us a couple bucks, get some exclusive content. We're going to be filming our cram sessions for Soul Calibur here very, very soon. In addition to that, another way you can support the show and get things and stuff is we have launched a TCG player, TCG player / UFS University. And so, what?
That isn't actually like the URL or anything.
No?
No.
So I said it like for 2 whole weeks and it's wrong?
Yeah.
That's rad.
What's the URL?
It's like, it's a very, very long URL.
Like a complicated number. Well,
Yeah.
Google it, I guess. So Travis, how's your week in UFS been, man?
Okay, I guess. I've been trying to test for Turbo, and I just keep hitting a brick wall because
This kid's garbage.
Jackie shouldn't exist in a format where your deck is 40 cards and you can see half of it in 2 turns.
Well,
Seems fine to me.
She's a 5-meter.
play counters.
You know, you're right. I would really love if we had good counters for that under the symbols I play.
Just play out of your league.
Play a different symbol.
Man, almost like that card's not legal in the format.
Wow. Talking to your microphone. Tyler.
Yeah. You forgot my name?
I was trying to call you Travis 45 times in my head. I said Travis. I said Travis so many times. How's your week in UFS?
It's been all right. I've been
Yeah?
testing more Siegfried.
Okay.
That's okay. It can be better, though. Void Siegfried, I don't know if it's good yet or not.
I think it's better than the Earth one you had, though.
You actually think so?
I mean, I almost died to it.
Okay.
I
I
just
think-
I
think
haven't almost died to the Earth one.
Okay.
I think you should play like DeForester and
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in. That was a very rough first build. It needs to not have as many combo attacks, and it.
But that foundation's hype. That when
It's
you
very
check it, you give 2
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
damage or stun to.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris Smith and his podcast. For
I also really
saying it.
like Mitsurugi's Ultra Rare in that deck.
I did too. Kind of.
It's real cool.
Are you wondering why Travis's cord is above the table?
Yeah.
Like, I tried not to do.
Yeah. Jake, how about you?
I have built the deck I am most likely playing for Worlds, is my guess. Unless I find something else crazy.
For Turbo Worlds or regular Worlds?
Regular Worlds.
Okay.
Which is Taki. Hey, I'm fine. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
just like over
Don't
here.
worry. I was just moving the cord. Anyways, I'm most likely playing Taki. Barrett pointed out that the character is good, so I'm like, okay, I'll have to test with it. Now that I'm playing it, it is insane. And turbo-wise, I mean, I have a basic deck and then a deck that counters that basic deck. But otherwise, I don't really want to talk about much what I'm playing.
Okay. That we're gonna talk about Turbo Worlds, and you get to be vague, but yeah.
Yeah.
My week in UFS has been a roller coaster. I am confirmed I get to go for singles. It's
Awesome.
confirmed. Yep. I might get to go for teams though. I have
Oh,
about a
man.
I have like a 5% chance. I talked to my boss at work and I was like, "Hey, do you know when the schedule's going to be out? I got to buy plane tickets and shit." And he's like, "Well, you're not working that Saturday. And I have to have you back on Monday. And Friday might be a stretch, but I'm going to try." And so,
Go.
I now have to find a team.
Yeah, 'cause we drafted our third already.
Yep. As you should. Like you shouldn't have waited this long to pick your teammates.
Just convince Genshi to go.
I don't think that I could handle playing with Genji all day.
I mean, as of current, I'm not confirmed whether I'm going or not, but I would definitely
You're
team
not,
with
don't
you if
lie
I
to me.
did.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going, I'm down. I was actually gonna be like, I was gonna to talk to local people and see what we could do, whether if anybody like dropped or whatever. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to kick anybody off a team. Like I very much don't want to do that. Like Julie is going and she's teaming with Byron and Zach, and she's like, "Oh, maybe Byron," and I'm like, "Nope, Byron's on your team. I'm not kicking him off a team. That's really lame.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jump out to all my people on Patreon and see, hey, are you guys missing any teammates? And do you want me? And then from there, I'll go to the community as a whole. And so I've decided I'm playing Jackie Briggs for singles. I have no idea what I'm playing for teams because I don't actually know if I can go to that. But I have already started on my costume. And yeah, it's going to be a blast.
I'm gonna take all these.
The clear ones?
Yeah, I like them.
I just think they're really hard to read. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on to topic 1 of the week. And that topic is Turbo Worlds. Turbo Worlds is coming up at time of recording in 2 weeks. So not this upcoming weekend. We record on Wednesdays. Not this Saturday, but the Saturday after. So whenever it's going live and we get to the breakout sections, it's this weekend. If you follow my time travel. So the point of this topic is if you are wanting to, I believe they will more than likely be streaming at the event. There will be commentary. I'm thinking about if we aren't doing stuff, maybe we still get the Legend of Wolf stream and stream over top of it and do some commentary. I'm not going to be there even a little bit. I'm going to Comic-Con. But what do we have to look out for when it comes to Turbo Worlds? What are people going to be playing? What are the best decks? What are the worst decks? What are the traps? What are the obvious plays? Obviously, I'm not asking you to give away your deck tech, although I don't think you necessarily don't need to do that. But like, I'll leave that up to you. What's going to be played at Turbo Worlds?
So
What's the best shit?
my initial thoughts are the 2 best decks are probably Jackie and Goro. I think Twinkle is a trap. Other than that, though, I haven't done much testing.
Why is Twinkle a trap?
So a lot of the field is going to be Jackie. Like, I'm just expecting a lot of the field to be Jackie, and she just hard counters Twinkle because she says I can pitch momentum on every single attack that I play, and Ageless and Wise exists.
Okay.
Which is actually just the biggest and most gaping counter that Twinkle has in the meta. Like, it doesn't even actually matter that they got rid of, like, half the counters since it's not standard, because the one that matters is still there, and it's a 40-card deck, so you're probably going to see it on turn 1 or 2.
Okay.
Especially with Turbo Mulligans.
Tyler, neither me or you got an invite to this event.
Yeah.
We suck.
Yeah. I mean, neither of us tried.
There's a pre-qualifier beforehand.
Who cares about that?
I mean,
Technically, Travis hasn't qualified either.
well, I'm going to be playing for it, and
You'll get it.
yeah.
You'll get it.
I believe
we'll talk
that-
about that in the next topic.
Yeah.
You'll get it. Do you think something along the lines of like Raiden would be good in this format? Something that like actually wants to strive in this early game, like is ultra powerful early. Like staying at 6 foundation seems really good in Turbo. Like draw these hardy attacks, play some cool shit, and continue. Like find an opening. That character still gets to play Bang under 2 of its symbols. Like find an opening, exploit it.
So I think it's playable.
Okay.
Like you could top. It's just like there's no diversity in Turbo. So
why not play the best?
Yeah, why not just play the 2 best decks or a deck that counters the 2 best decks?
What would counter the 2 best decks?
So I have a Lord Raptor deck built right now that is a 100% counter to Jackie. I've played 10 games against Jackie and have not even come close to losing a game yet.
Is that just because of the breaker, or is that because of the fact that flash attacks like Jackie can't interact with?
Yeah, so flash attacks, you can't be banged. So your character's always going to be active. Breaker stops the loop. The
Getaway fire.
getaway fire
Yeah.
loop.
That deck's trash. It got
And
5th at the last event.
The death symbol counters powerful keywords.
Yeah.
And,
With what?
So demanding submissions.
That's not legal, is it?
Yes,
Yes,
it is.
it is.
Street Fighter
Street Fighter's
is
legal? Oh, okay, okay,
I
okay.
have
Omen is
4 of
not.
in my deck that
Which
just
makes me
says
sad.
if they activate powerful 6, they burn 6 and,
Yep.
and cancel it.
Yep.
As well as
Toss
you,
missile launcher too.
you also have Showtime in that deck,
Mhm.
which cancels the draw 3 from the 6 div.
Which is real good.
And so you just wait for them to play the getaway fire, cancel the add back, and then they're just done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just the deck in general can just block and cancel everything that they're trying to do.
That's cool. That's cool.
It's a little hard to do 33, but
I feel like if I were to go to this event, I would play something that had the venomous on it. One of those three symbols. I think venomous. If Jackie is running around, that is a counter that people just get to play to the loop.
Yeah.
Or so like you don't venomous the draw 3, you venomous the getaway fire. So figure out maybe I guess Revoke's not legal in this format, huh?
No.
Venomous has earth.
Earth, water, void.
So then at that point you just play Goro with something like Dark Cherry Toe.
Yeah, Goro, Earth, Dark Cherry Toe, or you play just Jackie with Venomous as well.
Like Dark Cherry Toe, Fatality, Missile Launcher, Shokan Grab, and like those are just the 12 attacks you play, or 16 attacks.
Yeah, I have a Goro list right now that is like a mill deck with Dark Cherry Toe, and it can kill people with just Shokan Grab as a throw.
Do you think Test Your Might's going to exist? Do you think they're going to mill out decks?
I think they're. I don't know. I think. So 2 out of the 3 times that I've lost in Turbo leading up to this point, trying to play for my qualifier, was to Mill.
I don't know who did that.
I think Mill's good in the format because sure you remove 5 less cards, but you also have 20 less cards in your deck. So it's like, nah.
Does the fact that Street Fighter exists, do you think any Street Fighter characters besides Vega, do you think with how Turbo works, do you think Street Fighter will top at this event at all?
I think E Honda can.
Yes.
E Honda can because you play the 6 diff as well, just like Jackie does. But if they block it, they have to remove the top 4 cards of their deck.
That's rad.
So you mill them out if they want to block. And you can run Fatality as well. So
Okay, I'm running that deck.
you also can test your might with that if you find a way to do it. Like add a bunch of damage on it.
Yeah, I think Test Your Might is going to exist. How many Deadlock games do you think are going to go into Turbo?
Not many.
Only way that'll happen is if 2 people trying to counter Jackie play against each other that can't kill each other. Like
Okay.
Yeah.
Like if you put 2 decks that try and counter each other that just can't kill people other than a specific decks.
Tyler, if you're going to this event, what'd you play?
Hearing that Goro is probably one of the best decks, I'd probably play Goro.
I think I'd play Scorpion.
Oh, Scorpion's the other deck. So Travis was the one who said his initial thoughts on what decks we're gonna.
Yeah.
Then we kind of got on a rant.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. And we moved
Stuff.
on.
Scorpion was the other deck I was thinking is gonna be insane because like you Coffee Samba, stun him out, all your techs have +6 damage, and +2 speed.
Totally.
So +2 +6, we've seen Ken do really well. We know it's good, so Scorpion has +2 +6 as well in all of his attacks.
Mm-hmm. And doesn't miss on his. It's just guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like, and the fact that he has access to Flame Aura and
the Jackie attacks off.
the Jackie attacks high. The issue he's going to have is he has to find a game plan for Goro, but that game plan might just be get kicked in the face a little bit and then one-shot him. Scorpion loses nothing with it being in the Turbo format. All of his cards are from Street Fighter or above. All of them, besides maybe Revoke. But we can try and find better answers. Like we could just play Fade.
Yeah, you can just play Fade because I think that covers his one weakness of Bang being a lose a turn in that against him. Like I actually just don't think you can play a deck that makes Bang into you lose a turn. Like your turn is just failed now because your character doesn't exist. Like I don't think you can play that in this format where most of the good decks are going to be running Bang at like 3 or 4.
So
and can see it on turn 2 every game.
There has to be an evil foundation that like stops an action, right?
No.
Or maybe
Quan Chi has one.
Yeah.
You have to discard a character card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think Quan Chi makes a showing?
I think
Quan
Quan Chi
Chi
with Jackie's in it can be really good.
Okay.
In Ermac. So if you run Ermac and Jackie,
Ermac actually sounds hype in this format.
Ermac I've won 2 qualifiers with because everyone else has been playing Jackie and Goro in those. So I just ran 4 of each of those and all 6 checks and
Makes sense.
telechoked with and Soul Ball. Those are the only 2 attacks.
Oh man.
Yeah. I'm excited to see somebody win a car. I think that is a very, very cool prize for playing
is.
a card game. We have
on
pictures.
Facebook.
I
It
have
looks
not
really cool.
I haven't looked at it yet.
That's rad. It's rad.
thought there was gonna be more stuff all over it. When
I kind of thought
first
so
saw it.
too. I
Yeah,
kind of
I was
thought.
like,
I remember the original design was like there was a bunch of characters on the side of it.
yeah.
It's possible they just didn't get the license for it, but
I
at the
mean,
same time,
I
like,
think it was a
that's
bunch of
fine.
Red Horizon characters, so I'm
I
sure
mean,
they have the license.
yeah, I'm sure.
But
Does
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I
does
think
it look clean or is it very cluttered art wise?
It's very
No,
clean.
it's
I think
very
it used.
clean.
I think the problem was it used to be very cluttered.
Yeah.
Now it just has like UFS on it.
It
like
just has
Jasco or
and then the
something.
Jasco games on it.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
It actually looks really cool.
It's like all orange and black.
That's not bad.
It's going home to Rochester then. They've called it.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's okay.
Miles
Well-
painted it for him.
Good job, Kevin.
Or fuck it, Giggles. Giggles has earned it.
Is he going?
Yeah, of course.
I think so.
Yeah, he's the first person to qualify. He got a qualification from last time.
Last I heard, he wasn't. But that was from somebody that didn't know whose name was.
That's
Really?
funny. That's funny.
That was me.
If you're gonna be at the
I don't want to
event,
necessarily call you out. I don't want to
I
throw you
didn't
on
know
the
his
bus.
first name.
if
Throw your shade.
if you're gonna be at the event, make sure that you stop by and say hi to Jake, say hi to Travis. Me and Tyler aren't gonna be there. Like I said, I'm gonna be out of town. Tyler has work, and we are excited to see you. Come up, say hi.
Yeah.
That Sunday we do a stream, and if you'd like to come over and hang out, we'd love to have you. Just make sure that you shoot us an IM or something before you decide to come over.
Yeah, before we invite 50 people over here.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
that happens.
Yeah, so that we can like plan for food or whatever. Yeah. Lastly, if you have any turbo thoughts, leave them down in the comments down below. We'd love to. But with this, just gonna drop on that Monday, following going into Worlds, we'd love to conversate with you. Okay. Any last minute thoughts on Turbo Worlds?
Not really.
No, it's gonna be a blast. I like
Good.
Turbo. I'm very excited.
So with that, we're gonna move on to our second topic of the week. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Study Hall here on UFS University. My name's Tam, and I'm joined by.
Tyler.
Travis TNT Tangeman.
Jacob Johnson.
What Study Hall is for the unenrolled is we take a bunch of your guys' UFS topics as well as some of our own, and we sit down and we discuss them for your amusement, entertainment, and knowledge. So with that said, a couple housekeeping things. If you like the content and want to support the show, go out to patreon.com/UFS University. We also have a TCU player up. That's another way you can support us as well as get shit. So topic 2 I want to jump into because I think it might run a little long, and I want to talk about the mentality of the game, and I don't mean like
I read that as mortality.
the mortality of the game.
Game dead.
Wow.
Game dead.
I want to talk about
Rip
the
game.
mentality of you as a player. So at time of recording yesterday, randomly, I was talking to Ryan Pham, and we're both big Super Smash Brothers fans, and we watched this show called The Reeds, hosted by Scar and Toph and Scar, and one of the people they had on there is named Ginger, and he's a big mental player. It's all about how he's feeling. Are his thoughts clean? And all of this, he's telling stories of like how he's getting four-stocked by the best team in the world, and it all had to do with where they were sitting. They were sitting, the two best people were here, and then his teammates were here. They already split them as opposed to being side by side, and so like just making that little switch and changing their mentality from like a neutral to a positive thing fixed their game, and to the point where they were taking games off of the two best players to ever touch the controller. And so I started watching a lot of like motivational speakers, and my old martial arts instructor showed me this like 12-minute speech by Arnold Schwarzenegger that was like just like really eye-opening and really cool, and it brought me back to this instance with myself that happened on stream this past Sunday, where I scooped 3 out of the 4 games that we played, and the only game that I didn't scoop was when I killed you.
Yep.
And that's really lame. My mentality was poor. And so what I want to talk about is what are things that you do mentally to keep yourself in a healthy mindset when you play the game? Winning, losing, testing, playing in Swiss rounds that don't matter or tops that are very important. What What do you do to keep to quote the great Troy Bolton, keep your head in the game? Thank you for laughing at my amazing high school musical joke.
I thought it was good. Keeping a good head state is something I've learned over playing for so long. When I was younger, obviously, when you're younger, it's really hard to not get frazzled or mad when you lose because you really want to win, stuff like that. When you become more mature more and stuff like that, it's more of like you want to win the prizes and compared to just win the game. Like that's kind of like how it changes. So there's more of a stat stake, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What I do, so when I play card games, I don't put the prizes as the first priority. I play each game separately and I don't care about what's happening in the end. That's the way I stay level-headed most of the time.
Yeah.
Each game I just play separately. I don't even care about 2 out of 3. That doesn't phase me at all. Each game is its own separate thing.
I'm gonna write down
Usually.
a note real fast just to come back to I don't want to lose this thing. But Tyler, do you have anything to add? Well, what do you do?
So, all I can think about is that when I get frustrated with a game,
Mm-hmm.
I have to step away.
And this is with any game, or this is UFS?
I think this is pretty UFS centric, mainly because I don't know. So here's the thing: is that I have to step away. What that meant last time was I don't play the game for 3 months. But
Okay.
that's not a good way to play the game. Sometimes, well, see, I don't know, that's when I'm really frustrated, I guess. Otherwise, I just get over it very quickly and just move on.
So
That's not really anything. That's just, oh well, I've lost this game. I figure out what I did wrong. It's like, okay, I did X wrong. Well, all right, and then I just move on, and then hopefully I don't do that again.
So when it comes to that, though, you didn't really you didn't say anything just now.
Yes, I know.
How do you put yourself in a positive mindset? What do you do? I know James listens to music. I know James listens to music before he goes to a big event. He always puts the headphones in and he puts himself in the zone. The same way.
I didn't say I did either.
The same way that you had a different point. Yeah. The same way that like a professional boxer would do. And your mentality is very reactionary of I've lost, and even using the word I've lost is not good when you're going into the match. We would rather say I'm going to win this as opposed to I'm not going to lose this, right?
Right.
Even using the L word, love, even using the L word is
Already puts a bad mindset.
right,
going
totally.
in. Yeah.
That's a negative, that's a cloud that could go into your mind, right?
Yeah.
Because if you think you're gonna lose, you're obviously gonna make misplays. Like you're not gonna notice as much stuff because you're thinking about things that aren't happening. That's the way. That's what I was trying to describe as well. Like if you're thinking of the future, you're only halfway thinking about what's happening now. So it's an easier way of just losing, and then you don't get what's happening later at all.
Yeah.
You don't even get there.
So the way I play is I play after a quote from my favorite Magic streamer / professional, LSV.
Shoutouts.
Yeah. He says, one of my favorite quotes that he's ever said is always play to your outs. Whenever I'm playing a game, I play to my statistics and I play to my outs. If something...
What does that mean?
So playing to your outs is if you're in not the best of states, you play...
Like Nebraska.
Yeah, exactly.
Currently.
You play to get your head above water. So you play towards whatever is happening or could happen to keep your head above water so you don't lose the game outright. Because if you don't play to your outs, then you can be playing to lose.
Yeah, like reviewing an out of your league against a Jetta player. Whoops.
Whoops. When it comes to mentality, and this is something I'm going to be trying to do, I'm very much going to be trying to keep my head on my shoulders. I am a very passionate player. Lose by an inch or lose by a mile, I feel every atom that I lost by. And the inch, the mile, they feel the same to me. When I was testing versus you, I was getting so frustrated that the game that I won, I squeaked. I stole that game because I drew 7 attacks. And the games that I lost,
And I failed to check. Yeah.
the game I stole that game. I lost 4 out of 4 games statistically.
I mean, in the same breath of air, though, that was you playing to your outs. Like, at the same time, playing to your outs doesn't have to be statistical. Playing to your outs can just be, well, if I draw 7 attacks or whatever, I kill him, and that's the only way I probably kill him. Well, I have to play to that out, because if I don't, then I'm losing this game.
But what I'm saying is the deck that I played was not fun to play. The deck that I played was not optimal at all.
I understand that.
I suck at version 1s. And not only did I suck at version 1s, I made a bad deck for arguably a bad character. I did not... Nothing about that was going well for me. Every stat that I could possibly have on a scale of 1 to 10, I capped out at like a 3, which is hilarious because it was for damage. So I was just getting my head beat in, and as opposed to sit down and just take that punishment and let you finish a kill turn, I would just scoop it up in order to save my mental state. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But as you said, that's really shitty testing. It's just bad testing for you. It's not being a good teammate. So what I'm trying to do whenever I go into games now is I very much am going to stop trying to play against the player, and I'm just going to start trying to play against the deck. So I was listening to a Street Fighter, like a 12-minute thing on like your potential. What is your potential? And this is a little different when it comes to fighting games versus card games because we have the biggest luck issue, which is luck of the draw.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Street Fighter, if you're playing Ken and I'm playing Ken, and we both press the A button, it's the same A button. But in a card game, if I draw all orange and you draw all gray, I get to attack and you don't. And so what I'm going to be trying to do is when I went to the Atlanta PTC and I stayed up way too late chatting with people, everything that I said instead of me going to bed was, it's fine, I'm just going to lose tomorrow. I'm fighting Lilith. It's pretty much an auto win versus Jackie, and either I'll win or I'll lose. And that's such a shitty mentality to have. I should have gone in that match going, no, I'm going to win. I figured out what to do. I know what I need to do. And it's going to happen. Just being not falsely confident, not overly confident, but just being confident and using that W word. I will win. I will persevere. I will have this indomitable spirit, and I'll never give up. Just saying that to yourself, honestly.
Your inner Vegeta.
Yeah, at 100%. I am the best at this game, and I am gonna go win Turbo Worlds, and I'll get that car.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been playing for 2 weeks. I'm going to go do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the people that I think has one of the best winner mindset mentalities is actually one of our local players, Mark Tyner. I think Mark Tyner, ever since he put his hands on these cards, has had this, man, I'm just gonna beat you. And it's a really, really good competitive mentality to have. Makes him a little bit of a heel, but like he beats your ass sometimes. Like he really does.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Very true. I do play with him a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. After playing with him a bunch as well, I also noticed that he plays very similarly to me in that he always plays to his outs. So if his out is drawing this card and this is an orange card, he's going to play to his out and he's going to probably kill you. And he's going to be confident that he can do it, which is a very good thing.
Yeah, he just goes for that check.
Yeah.
Yeah, confident. I mean, either he makes it or doesn't, right?
Yeah. That's playing to your
I
outs.
don't want to play not over yet so badly. It's not legal in Turbo.
It's not legal.
Yeah.
And not on Symbol.
And
I would off symbol it.
Really?
Yeah, Getaway Fire leaves anyways.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, to spoil.
yeah.
This out.
Anything to add, Ty?
No.
Is there, so now I'm demanding you to add something.
Well, I have nothing. So, like,
What's your mental state
I don't know. It's like
right now?
Here's the thing.
What's
Even
your
if,
mental state?
even if it's something that you're like, that's really eye opening, and the thing that I caught about that was this. I'd be fine with that.
I did think that I should probably stop saying that I'm really bad at this game.
I
and
agree.
that I'm going to lose, even though that is what I think. And this kind of this maybe reinforced that a little bit because I have no idea. I've never done any of the things any of you are talking about. But
The good news.
I've always
The point of the podcast.
Sure. I've always, though, it's like this is why I don't think I have like a mentality about it because I sort of started as a positive mentality.
You
Right?
started positive?
Yeah, it's just I'm not a generally negative person.
Mm-hmm.
Although I feel like it sometimes that I come off as negative.
Mm-hmm.
I also know that I don't, but I am also an anxious person, and that's why I vocalize it as very negative. But I always go in very positive to a lot of things,
Including UFS or no?
including UFS. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I start a game, I don't start thinking I'm going to lose. After a while, after I finish a game, I think about the fact that I'm going to lose. Or when I think about upcoming games, I'll think, "Wow, I'm gonna have a tough time then." But then going into it, I don't slap my character down and be like, "Well, let's just get this over with." Let's win this game.
Okay. And that in and of itself is like a good mentality to have. Even like I went into my rounds match versus Tim Keefe playing this crazy eventually go and win the tournament Lilith deck, and I went in with on a scale of 1 to 10 like a 4 out of 10. My needle was definitely pointed more towards the negative side of like, fuck, this is going to be a hard match, as opposed to I think I'm just going to beat his ass. I have the outs in my deck. If I didn't, I would not have taken a game in tops. I should have just I've played against Lilith like the second most out of anybody, and the other deck I've played against is freaking Siegfried. Like I know how to deal with big damage attacks. I know how to deal with her response. I just have to wait and hold a hand, and then it just didn't happen. And in game 2, I just played really really brash because of my mentality, and I went well. Now I just have to kill him. I'm just going to rush him down and like not play smart. I'm just going to do whatever. And I checked a 3 when I statistically knew I was going to check a 3, and I tapped everything out, and then he turned around and killed me. Like because of my mental state and because of how I went into a game that I had a negative, I had an 8-2 or a 2-8. I lost that game before it even started because of the 2-8 and how hard that matchup was, and I went ahead and put myself in a bad spot. It ended up just being 0-10.
Yeah.
That happens.
Also, as far as mentality goes, I forget who it was, but there was a fighting game player that I really like to watch, and he teaches people about tactical tilting, which is basically you have to know when to not tilt, and you have to know when to tilt your opponent, because obviously when people are tilted, they play worse. They're statistically more likely to lose games, which is obviously not the case all the time, because some people play better when they're tilted. Some people play
You
worse.
better look out.
It's just, it depends. But you have to know when you're getting BM'd, and you have to be able to block that out, and you have to know when to BM tactically.
Well,
Okay, I don't like that. I honestly think that everyone can play card games without trying to tilt your opponent, and you can still do amazingly well. I personally do not ever try and purposely tilt my opponent in an actual tournament. If I'm playing casuals, yes, I'm going to because it's fun.
Right.
But that's usually with friends, and you obviously know that it's not mean. If you're playing against a random person that you don't know, you should not do that. So like I know it's a tactical thing and stuff, but
I
that's
think
just my morals.
Here's the middle
against
ground.
that,
Here's the
but-
middle ground. I think you're both right. I think if you're okay with the backlash socially of what will come with you tilting your opponent, then it's a tool. Use it.
Yeah.
If you are not comfortable with the backlash of you being the heel and using that tool, then don't use it. I'm not I'm not a fan of doing it either. It doesn't make me feel very good. But I sat and I watched Mason Johnson talk trash on Miles Tyler during a PTC in finals. It was Kim versus Terry, and to the point where the Kim deck was like laying 6 cards down on the field on turn 2 and was like crossed his arms and was like, "Fucking kill me, Miles." Oh, you didn't get there? I'm sure I will. And Miles got mad and he lost a game. And then it happened again, and Miles turned around and turn 2'd him. And Miles, as angry as I've like almost ever seen him, was just like, "Are you gonna shut your fucking mouth now and play the game?" And then Kim won game 3. But like, but like,
he didn't win the tournament.
Miles was tilted off the face of the planet, and it showed. And I don't know if that affected his game at all, but like, it was a tool that you can use. So I don't want to tell anybody on the podcast you can't do that, but I do want to educate you that it is possible that there will be social ramifications if you do.
Exactly. Just you have to know when not to. What are the possible negatives to it, and what are the positives? Be tactical about it. Don't just randomly BM someone just because you can.
Yeah.
Because that's how you lose games. Because then you're up against that one random person who plays better when they're tilted, and you get destroyed.
And people's feelings get hurt.
Exactly.
What any last minute thoughts? I think we've covered this topic fairly well. If there was
I
any
agree.
advice, look at the camera and give one piece of advice on keeping a good mental state.
So when my one piece of advice would be, if you are having a good time with the person sitting across from you, like talking wise and like getting to know them and stuff like that, if you've never met them, it cannot go poorly. Because you still met someone, you got a new friend, you played cards with someone. That's what I do almost every time. I try and get to know the person. I don't know. That's my one piece of advice.
Tyler?
Be positive. Because I have no other advice for this.
That's fair. Travis?
Just be, to put it bluntly, be untiltable, which I know is nearly impossible for a lot of people, but just be as close as you can to being untiltable, because tilt ruins games.
Do you want to explain to some people what tilt means? Because you are using a slang term.
Sure. So tilt meaning don't get angry or frustrated when things aren't going your way during a game. So I guess a better, more newbie-friendly term for it would be...
What's a newbie?
Newbie meaning a new player to the game.
I thought it meant new body. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Is just don't take the game back, or don't take the anger and the stress and the frustration from the game back into your real life, and like just don't be angry about it afterwards. Leave it in the game.
Thank you. That was a good enough explanation for tilt.
Yeah.
I think the biggest advice that I can give to somebody is make sure that both individuals are having some sort of fun. Make sure that you communicate, as Jake said. And the very last thing is don't undersell yourself. If you want to lower your potential ceiling, say that you're bad. If you want to lower your potential ceiling, say that you're going to lose because you're new. Say that your cards are worse. Say that you're not as good. If you start saying those things, it is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as that happens, you just lower your human potential.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of us can be Tim Keefes and play at a naturally higher level. But if you're 2 weeks into the game, if you're 2 years into the game, and you're constantly saying that this is not going to go well for me,
Yeah, I'm like living proof for that. I got third at the first PTCA, and I started the Wednesday before it.
yeah, and it was confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And Scorch Wheel. So
I wasn't running that card.
Tango Dive. Sorry.
No one told me about that card, otherwise I maybe would have won.
So with that, I would love to hear your guys' mental strategies. YouTube comments, Facebook comments. Share this in your local play groups. I think this is one of the
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan Pham, for giving me the inspiration to talk about this. And this is something I really want to talk about more on the podcast, is like, where is your mental health? What are you doing in order to make yourself better at the card game mentally?
Yeah. And this isn't even just a UFS thing. This is like an every game thing.
An everyday life thing.
Yeah.
Which is why these motivational videos are like help push this topic over the edge.
Yep.
We never got to this. So we're going to go ahead and move on to topic 3 because this is running a little long. Okay? Well, I'm sure we will revisit this in the future.
I'm almost certain.
Topic 3. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Study Hall here on UFS University. My name's Tam, and I'm joined by...
Tyler.
Travis TNT Tangeman.
Jake the Big Johnson.
I love that nickname for you. What Study Hall is for the unenrolled is we've taken a bunch of your guys' UFS topics as well as some of our own, and we sit down and we discuss them for your amusement, entertainment, and knowledge. A little bit of housekeeping. If you like the content, go out to patreon.com/UFS University. Throw us a couple bucks. Get some cool stuff. In addition to that, we've also just recently started up a TCG player. We'd love your support out there as well.
I think we're going to do Dragon Ball cards as well.
Eventually, once we have enough sales that we can increase our inventory.
Yeah.
So what I want to talk about for the third topic is deck building mistakes. So the thought process going forward from all these study hall episodes and trying to make the product better for you is every week we're going to be doing like some newsworthy stuff as well as advanced tech as well as basic tech. And this is the thought for basic tech for my new players. What deck building mistakes are you making in order to, and how can we fix them? So we've all been a new player at least at one point. Maybe not Jake; he's always been godlike. But we have
I've been a new player.
We have deck building mistakes. What are they, and how did you organically learn to fix them? That is the important part. Is what steps did you take in order to fix that thing? I want to start with Travis.
So, I think deck balance is extremely important, especially in UFS, because you have to know what like quantities to put your cards at. So because since we have a check system, if you don't put your cards that you want to see high enough, there's a chance that you never see them because of the way our system works. But if you put them too low, or if you end up putting them too high, then you see too many. So it's like, it's a paradox. You have to know the balance. And I think most of that ends up coming with time. Like, I know when I first started, and partially still am, I was really bad at deck building. I would just build a lot of mediocre decks that didn't actually have a guided direction.
Yeah, the whole thing was just to counter me. Every single deck.
Yep.
It accomplished the goal, right?
It did. It got me first at locals because I just lose to Jake every other time.
Bang, bang. And so you're saying watching your ratios and making sure that like unique foundations or 4 checks or 6 checks or in
non-blocks, all that stuff.
in check.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. Tyler, Jake, you want to jump in?
I think those are pretty common. Like, those are the common deck building mistakes you can make. When I think I'm a good deck builder, personally in my head. The only reason I think I'm a good deck builder is because
I didn't say
I'm doing it to talk. Okay. Is because of playing drafts and my brother, like playing card games with my brother.
Okay.
So when I was young, I used to build very, very bad decks. Every single deck I built was just bad. I can never win any games, nothing like that. So I sat down and I just like memorized every card that existed in all the card games I played. I know that's crazy. Like, I would just
That's like practicing 6 hours a day.
I know, right? I would sit down and I would think about every single thing to counter, what counters what, stuff like that in all these games. I'm not saying you have to go to that length or anything, but you need to know what all cards exist and are being played in order to build a deck that is going to not have mistakes in it.
Okay.
Because you don't
So
have,
card knowledge.
Yeah, card knowledge is probably the most important thing in deck building. I put it at number 1 for anything else.
Okay. You have something? You want me to go?
So I think you need to know what is wrong with your deck.
Ooh.
So like, and that I think that comes with after playing it.
Time and testing.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
if you can play it once and figure out some wrong things with it, that's a big step. Like I just fishbowled with this new deck that I built
Mm-hmm.
the other day, and immediately I was like, well, I drew like 3 or 4 hands, and like just imagine like this attack that I'm facing is a 4 mid block. Every attack is
4 speed.
4 speed mid block. Every single one.
Okay.
Just if that was the world I was playing in.
So reptile. You're
Right.
fighting reptile.
Right.
Neat.
Neat.
And it
Discard
was
a card
like,
in every attack.
what's wrong with this? It's like, okay, well, I don't need these in the deck. This is too many. I need to change this up a lot. This isn't as good as I thought it would be in this scenario. And just fixing those, because like I can't see things unless they're like in front of me. Like I have to have experienced them before I can like really decide whether or not it's good or bad. And I think after I do that, then you can mess with stuff. And I think it's just figure out if you can figure that out. Because I know sometimes people like just continue playing the same thing over and over again, not really thinking about why it isn't working.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like some people just get mad that this one thing is not doing well because it statistically has done well for other people.
Totally.
And then they get mad when they can't do it, so they just keep running it in, like running their face into the wall pretty much, instead of adapting and changing it to their own play style, own works. Because deck building, if you don't have something that you do, like if you're playing a deck that you don't play normally and you don't know how to work it, it's gonna feel like a mistake. But it could actually be the deck that could win an event.
But at the same time, and to dovetail off of that just a smidge, I am garbage at creating a first draft of a deck. Everything that I've ever taken to a major event ever that I've done well with has been a version of somebody else's deck that I have taken and changed 10 cards of. Starting with that initial thing and being like, hey, this Say deck that I stole from the Big Johnson.
I think you meant Spike 1 deck.
This
but
Spike deck that Say was one of the 10 cards I changed. this Say deck is now getting results because I knew what I personally was missing in the game, which is how we get to what I think, and it's actually dovetailing off of yours, of what are your cards, what's their job?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I have finalized a deck, I put my cards into a bunch of different piles, and I pick all my cards up, and I put them in another set of piles. I put them in difficulty. I put them in card type, so attack, foundation, asset, action, character. And then I pick and I look at them, and I count numbers. And then you'll know the number whenever you get learned, okay? You pick all the cards up, and you put them in difficulty. So now I know how many 3 diff foundations, 2 diffs, 1 diff, 0 diffs. I know what my actions are. I know what my attacks are. I'm running 8 6 diff attacks. What am I doing? Can the foundations I have, can they support that? No? Then I got to change something. I pick everything back up and I lay it down into block modifiers. And I go, what's my high, what's my mid, what's my lows? And then I lay out my 1s, 2s, and 3s. And these are all statistics that you can find on UFS Ultra, but I personally like to see it on the board. I like to see the cards. And I go, this deck has 6 low blocks. I'm going to lose to Aaron Black. And that's something no one should ever say. Right? And so, like, I then go, I'm running 24 high blocks and 16 mid blocks. I have to take from the high blocks. And then I pick everything up and I lay it down into the most important category, which is, what am I fighting here? What's the point? How many speed reductions do you have? How much damage reduction do you have? How much speed pump? How much damage pump? What's your momentum generation? How do you build foundations? How do you pass checks? How do you stop your opponent from playing their game? Something that I put into my deck now in every water deck that I play is I'm trying to find the magic number of emergency rations, because that card does 2 very important things that nobody is paying attention to right now. You will randomly lose to a reptile if you do not have this card or some sort of discard hate in your deck. You just will, whether it is Balance Fighter, emergency rations,
especially with this next set coming out.
like, you're going to lose to discard. You are. And then at the same time, foundations are very free. There are plenty of enhance : big number. An emergency ration shuts down my staging area. And it's a 2 low block. This card covers a lot of different options for me. And so I look at this Venn diagram of what do my cards do? What's their job? And that card is hand control for myself. That card is board control for my opponent. And that card's also a really good low block. It's a good card.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at cards, which we're going to get to in the next section, like the tech cards. What tech cards do I get to play? So underwater, I've been playing it nothing but. I'm playing Despise All Evil. And that card is not just hack protection. It's also opponent's board control. My attack, I blow up a committed foundation. They commit a card in their staging area. That can include their character. So, like, there's trying to figure out when do I play my attacks? If you want a good look at what I'm doing here and, like, the thought process, go to Toy Soldier's YouTube account, and he talks about the different types of attacks. What are pokes? What are swings? What are follow-ups? What are, like, punishes? Like, you look at those and you lay out your cards and go, what are my cards doing? What's the job that they do? And I think that is something that's just as important as what are the numbers in the math.
Yeah.
Yeah, the English on the card also matters.
Yeah, and to build on that, yeah. Nice. I see what you did there.
Thanks.
No, you did that.
So when building a deck, once you're finished, once you've laid everything out, after asking yourself what your cards do, you need to ask, what does your overall deck do? So, like,
Totally.
what's the idea behind your deck? Because I've realized now, after playing for, like, the length that I have, it's okay to build decks around a gimmick as long as your deck, A, supports the gimmick, B, is consistent, and C, your opponent, or your deck says in some way, shape, or form that your opponent does not get to interact with this gimmick, whether it be a counter to one of their answers, or your character says they just can't interact with it, or something along those lines.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
Yep.
Which comes back into play of card knowledge.
Yep.
I think everything at the table that has been said is important. I think that every single person has brought something, and obviously, focusing on one thing at a time is what you're going to get good at. It's why weightlifters don't lift every weight at the same time. They isolate, and that is a way that you're going to get better when it comes to deck building. Isolation is good in this testing environment. Are there any other we've all shared at least a singular thought. Is there anything else that we possibly missed?
A small thing. I remember that a little while back when me and Tam would play a lot.
Now you don't love me anymore.
No, I just am have way less free time. Whenever we would build a deck, we would sit down as a group and we would go through each card and why it's in there, stuff like that. Talking to others does actually improve your deck
100%.
because you get multiple opinions. It's like a Hydra is always stronger than a single snake.
Yeah.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
I totally agree. Working with the play group.
Yeah.
But
But
if you don't have one, message any of us on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm sure any of us will help.
Or go to Patreon for the $1 level and you get access to our TCG Discord. You can talk to any of us on there as well as other people on the student body.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The plug.
You
Yeah.
just have somebody ask about Yoshimitsu.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
like, hey, do you have any Yoshimitsu decks that we can
I got a cool one.
play, we can look against? I was like, yeah, I played this one. Like it needs
It
improvements. But
sucked.
yeah, but like this was
That was
a first build.
I liked it.
It's
I liked it
like-
a lot.
I
This
did
is
as
clearly
well.
an aggro deck, and I'm playing an offensive one, and we bounce each other's off, bounce ideas off each other like that.
The simple
Totally,
defense
totally.
of Yoshimitsu seems good.
Yeah.
Blow up a foundation and draw 2 cards. Damn.
Yeah.
Every turn.
Also, the one piece of advice majorly that I'd want to give for our newer players out there is
one piece of advice.
exactly, don't be afraid when you're building a deck. Don't be afraid to try new things, and
No,
don't
that's
be
true.
afraid to break the norm.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So like
But respect your elders.
when I first started playing, I I was scared to ever go above 61 cards when I was building a deck.
As you should, you heathen.
Because
Whoops.
the mentality the mentality in the community, at least back then, it's changed a little. What is man, you know, this deck
Aggro
can
decks
really
are 70 cards now. Okay,
Yeah.
it's changed a lot.
this deck can be 59 cards. You're at 60, you're at 67, while this deck can be 59. And I think that's changed a lot, as Jake has pointed out. So like, just don't be afraid. Just test things out. If they don't work, you can always change. There's always room for change. Just as you change as a player, your deck will also change and evolve.
So we're going to jump into the last topic because it is also deck building related. And I don't. This is going to be a fairly quick option, and I kind of want it to be a little bit of a debate, but we'll get into it when you see us tomorrow. With that, topic 4, here we come.
See ya.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Study Hall here on UFS University. My name's Tam, and I'm joined by this
Tyler.
fantastic crew. Who do we have today?
Tyler.
Travis TNT Tangeman.
Jake.
What Study Hall is for the unenrolled is we've taken a bunch of your guys' UFS topics as well as some of our own, and we sit down and we discuss them for your amusement, entertainment, and knowledge. So with that said, a little bit of housekeeping before we jump into the last topic of the week. If you like the content, go out to patreon.com/TCGUniversity. Throw us a couple bucks. Get some cool content. We also have a TCG player if you'd like to support us by buying out our extra cards. So with that, topic 4 is going to be very similar to the topic that we just had, and that is, how many tech choices should you play in a deck? Now, what I don't want to get into, fellas, is I don't want this to be us scrolling through our phone and saying that this card is really good right now in 2019 pre-Worlds. I don't want that. We get it. Evil Symbol's nuts. Play anti-hack stuff. That's fine. I don't want that. What I want is whenever you personally are building a deck and you have to counter the meta, how much space, how much room do you have? Make sense?
Yeah. So I think
I'll go first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
you went first last time,
Okay,
sir.
Sure.
Tyler, how do you feel?
You feel?
How I feel is I don't ever really think about it. To
Really?
be honest, yeah.
Really? Why?
Well,
Why so?
So what? Well, because what I always end up doing is I always get my gimmick into the deck, and then I just fill in numbers. So I don't. It's never really come up like so. If my deck is entirely the gimmick, well, then I don't have any room because it's just then there's. I'm not planning on countering anything. I'm just
Okay.
planning on doing my thing. Like this spike deck I just built, entirely built to just discard cards from my card pool and just continue playing attacks.
Okay.
Okay.
Spike 2.
Spike 2, yeah.
So that sounds like a good first deck, you know,
Yeah.
like when you the first thing, like that's always good to know. I think we're talking more like with the competitive deck.
100%. This is
Like,
another
this
competitive.
is a PTC deck. When you finalized it now,
Mm-hmm.
how many are there? Not like when you first initially build a deck, how many are there?
Well, that's the so. Again, I don't think about it because I fill out my gimmick, and whenever I fill out my gimmick, there's always a hefty amount of cards left to just put into the deck. Which at that point, I just scroll down whatever symbol I'm playing and be like, "This card's good. This card's good. This card's good. This card can be good against them. This card's good for whatever reason," and then I add those in. So, what ends up happening is that I could have any number of cards be swapped out for anything because not a lot of them necessarily matter. They're just all okay cards and good enough for what they do.
Okay.
They all serve a little bit of a purpose, even though it's a very broad. So I mean, it's like, well, I could face against a deck that only plays highs and lows. So, and even though we're probably never going to go into deadlock, I'll play this Loyal Servant
To reset the speed of a
to
higher
reset
low.
the speed
Okay.
because we're not going to build into deadlock. So I'm never going to commit to discard in case. But if we do, that'd be awesome. So well, Jake was playing a deck that million speed.
Yep.
I'll reset the speed and then instead of using these two Fei-Feis that are in there because -3 speed is really good.
Yeah. Okay,
So-
I dig that a lot. Of like, as opposed to like 2 or 3 slots that you're like, I have to have competitive answers. Everything is kind of this fuzzy Venn diagram.
Right.
Okay.
Or it's a
So
they
give me
all-
a range.
I mean, I want to say above 13 to.
I'm just reacting to the thing
like-
that you said.
More than 10 usually.
More than
More
10.
than 10.
Okay.
So that's a good range. Personally, if you have an 8-card sideboard, okay,
Mhm.
that means you should have 8 cards in your deck that can easily be replaced by the 8 cards in your sideboard. Depending on each one, that would go out based off of what you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I normally try and find 8 cards that I don't need every single time for a deck to work.
Mm-hmm.
Because almost all of my decks require me to have these 60 cards and then the whatever cards.
Right.
Because those 60 cards, every single one of them gets me to do what I want to do. And then the other cards are to help me in specific matchups do what I want my deck to do.
Right.
Like so I'm also playing a character that discards cards from my card pool. Discard cards from my card pool,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not running anything else to discard cards from my card pool except the attack that discards cards and my character.
Mhm.
Because those should already be doing it, and the other thing should be letting these things do it. Everything else in my deck.
Should be pressuring your opponent to make sure that
Yeah.
you trigger those things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just like my thought.
In order for me to answer, I think I'm just gonna have to scroll through UFS Ultra and see what the relevant cards are. So, just kidding. I wanted to do that joke after him, and I think it'll land better. But I actually take and do. I build my deck with extra 4-ofs that I maybe could take out.
I do that too.
And so, like, those 4-ofs count as part of that 8 that we said. But I believe that extra cards are the things that you want to float in and out when it comes to teching it for your sideboard, when it comes to putting things in. But when I do mainboarded stuff, I want at least 5 cards, even if I never sided them out. If I went to an event with no sideboard, I'd want at least 5 cards that do something relevant in the meta to stop something. The examples that I have right now are the emergency rations, as well as
Evil something.
yeah, Despise All Evil and High Seas Adventure. Like those are the main cards that I'm playing in order to
High Seas is slowly becoming a main board card.
To-
That card is nuts.
totally. And it eventually it was not. It was that side tech. What the
Yeah.
fuck? Why are you running High Seas? And it's slowly
Yeah.
becoming that. But I'm still gonna count it as this. That card does nothing to make my combo happen. That card is 100%. Hey, stop what you're doing. I would like to play the game again. And so that does the same option as discarding a card after a reptile off of this card. And so I want 5 of those options. I want a 12th of my deck to be
If you're playing 60 cards.
correct. A 12th of my deck to be, hey, this is that extra bit of spice that has this fuzzy Venn diagram to try and touch more stuff.
Like those one of immortal knowledges that people run
Yeah,
to
yeah,
like
yeah.
bounce that card back to their hand when
yeah,
you need it.
right.
What?
It was
I don't know.
getting unplugged.
I don't think it
Travis?
was. But I was
So,
scared
I actually don't think that there's like a set, at least in my book, that there's a set number that you should have when you're looking for tech options. I think those slots fill out themselves, like kind of to build on what Tyler said. After you're finished building the deck, like you get the deck down and then those slots just kind of fill in, because so you want tech options, things that do things for you like optimally. You want tech options that do things for you, but also neg your opponents. Like you want pluses for you, negs for your opponent. So like in, let's say, Jeddah, you play in Jeddah,
Oops.
you play Celestial Being,
Totally.
because that card says 3/3 for your reversals if you have 2 momentum.
Mhm.
And it also says stop that stun.
It
It's
also says
a
win the
counter to
diversity
you.
battle. I understand.
Do you not play Celestial Being in your main board when you don't play reversals?
Depends. So it depends on A, what's in the meta, B, what my deck is doing.
So that's what I'm saying is if you do not play reversals, would that be a card that you throw in your deck? Because right now, Coffee Samba kills you, Jet kills you, Akuma kills you. Like these cards have stun.
Yeah.
Stop kills you.
Yeah.
Would that be like one of those sideboard options that like you'd be willing to?
Yeah.
I throw one Celestial Being in every single one of my decks, and I make sure that's one of my 5 to 7, 5 to 8 cards. If we want to talk,
I remember
sideboards.
the good time you ran 4 of them in your main board.
Thank you,
Twinkle
Twinkle
was
Murdoch.
running around.
Yeah. That's a really prime example is Twinkle. Like people just had to run that card if you were playing any of the symbols if you didn't have good momentum outs.
And so that takes up 4 of your 8 slots. Yes, you don't get to just slam 4 Celestial Beings on top. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Which like I don't even think it's actually like I said, I don't think it's a real set number. I think it's however many you think you're going to need.
Okay, so we're talking right now.
Yeah.
When we're talking about current meta.
Okay. Currently,
Current year.
yes. So you're playing a 60 card deck. You need answers for Akuma, you need answers for Jackie, you need answers for possibly Lilith and other characters.
Okay. Wow.
So,
You listed between 4 and 150 characters just now.
yep.
Isn't that's crazy, huh?
Yep.
And so give me a hard number. If you had to pick a number, you had to look at the camera and you had to tell my little sister who's trying to play the game right now. Look at the camera and look at my little sister. Look at her. Her name's Kira.
Okay.
And you tell her the number of tech options she needs in her deck, in her
Kira.
60 card deck right now. Look at the camera.
Okay.
Talk to the microphone. Look at the camera.
So here's what I would say.
Kira.
Hello.
Kira.
I would like to tell you that you should figure out your tech options needed based on what your deck is doing
Sorry
and
that,
what your opponent's decks are doing.
Sorry that my fellow podcaster's not being helpful to you, Kira.
And you shouldn't
so much
have
for
a
that
set
world's dream,
number
huh?
Listen, Kira, there is a good number.
because if you limit yourself, then you'll end up losing more games because of it. If you limit yourself to a set number and you say, well, I have to have this number of cards in my that are side outable.
So you should have a set number of cards that are side outable. If every card, I had this mentality when I played Yu-Gi-Oh. I had this mentality when I played Yu-Gi-Oh, where I never touched my sideboard ever because I already picked the best 40 cards in the game.
So
I already picked them.
Okay, so I have 20 cards in my deck now because you said I needed to figure out my options, and there's obviously 15 competitive decks now.
150
Yeah,
characters.
there's like 20 competitive decks
Akuma,
that
Jackie,
can win.
Lilith, and the rest of them.
So I'm now taking one card for each of them, okay?
Okay.
That's 21 ofs,
uh-huh.
as well as I can only side out 8 of them. So when I play against something that's not those, I now have 20 dead cards in my deck. Or
Okay.
12 dead cards.
So-
I sided out 8 of them.
And those 8 cards are going to be nuts.
Okay. So when I say you shouldn't set a number for it, I don't mean go all out.
Okay, so what's a cap? Give me a cap then.
That's fair. Thank you.
Because my cap was 8.
Okay, sure. If I'm giving a cap, it's 10. If I'm just trying to decide how many should go in a deck, I don't think there's a set number for that.
So Travis,
Obviously.
obviously there's not a set number.
I'm not,
obviously.
that was
Yeah.
not the question.
The-
It was
the
a trick question.
The point of this topic is for the people. I'm gonna adjust my attention. For the people who aren't thinking about this,
Me.
where's a good starting point to start thinking about this? What is a good number that when I'm sitting down and I'm making my UFS Ultra deck and I'm trying to make my super sick, vicious deck because he's my favorite edgelord in all of anime, and I need to know how to beat these other decks, how many, instead of putting in 60 cards that are really sick for vicious, how many cards do I need to say, no thank you? How many of my cards do I need to specifically hate on one person's fun? I cannot tell you how many times that main boarded of Despise All Evil has stolen me games.
that card is really good.
That card's nuts versus Akuma. That card says you get to do whatever you want versus Akuma. That card is insane versus Akuma. It's nothing but Akuma does jack shit with that. Fei Long
I'll
beats
destroy
the...
this.
I'll honky tonk it back in case I don't kill you. Did you revoke it? I'll flip this God of Thunder and I'll ready it back.
I mean, that's
Destroy for God.
Whatever.
that's
I don't give a fuck.
that's another example of like a card that is dual purpose because when it's not being an answer, it's doing things proactively because that card says blow up a committed foundation to make them stun one, right?
That happens 1 out of 10 times.
Yeah, but it's still like having the option
It
there.
happens 1 out of 10 times.
Having
It's
the
not-
option
But-
there.
But it's always going to get sided out against someone that does not hack checks.
Exactly.
Hey, that-
Because the other
that
ability
card-
does not matter in your deck.
The 1 or 2 main boarded that I had in my Jackie Briggs deck were gone when I fought that Lilith deck who played
Yeah.
all lows.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's a high block.
Yeah.
For the same reason that and I didn't want to name cards, but I am. I have been playing a 1 of main boarded deadlock. Your tech attack gets 2 tech or punch gets 2 speed response commit after your attack
Olympic
receives.
Boxer.
Thank you, Olympic Boxer. I just could not remember the name. I've been playing a 1 of that, and that was 1 of my 8 to 10 cards, and that card's coming out because that card sucks. that card's not good.
But,
that
yeah.
card was really good in testing when I was fighting Siegfried for no reason.
Yeah. What is the other ability on that card even?
Deadlock E tech gets 2 speed.
Okay.
And it's insane. Oh my god, is that nuts?
Well, yeah.
That says scaling is just not a thing.
Yeah, if you got 4 of those out, 8 speed.
Pop, pop, pop. I was one of, but whatever. So the point of this topic was for all my new people out there. You just got done watching Wednesday's video. Thank you very much for the click. And you are not wanting to make another mistake deck building. Thank you for the click. I want you to have this fuzzy number that you get to go into and go, what exists in the meta? Let's look at these top deck lists from this past season. What do I need to put in? Look, as I scroll through UFS Ultra, how many of these cards should I play?
Let's watch our video that we talked about the top decks.
Yeah. Which I would love to do another one after the like before Soul Calibur comes out. The movie next week. So with that, any last minute things before we end the podcast?
Nope.
Tyler?
No, I don't have anything.
All right. So with that, thank you very much for watching this episode of Study Hall here on UFS University. Once again, if you like the content, patreon.com, TCG Player. If you have any topics, IM us. We might get to them. Or if you want to force your way onto the show, jump on Patreon. One of those just does that. So with that, stay learned.
Good night.
Ben Lurt.
Bye.
Say it.
Say bye.
Say it.
You say bye.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye. Love you. Bye.